How about this one? Caleb Wilson, ACC Player of the Year. Is that too rich for your blood? It can only mean one thing. It's time for this year's Bold Predictions.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listener watch to get your Wednesday going the right way. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if that bet hits, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Go ahead and download it and get started today. Want to give a special shout out to all the everydayers here with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course, our great Locked On Tar Heels insiders. You want to join either of those groups? The links are in the show notes. We'd love to have you. Coming up on the show today, I talked about it in the cold open. It's time for this year's Bold Predictions. Predictions almost guaranteed to be wrong. That's how outlandish they should be. But they're not just random. I'm basing them in some sort of reality that could actually happen. The fun of it, though, is I'm going to unapologetically lean into these. I don't care how absurd they may seem. I'm not going to apologize for them. I'm not going to qualify them. Just give them to you as though they are gospel truth. That makes it so fun. So we'll do that. I've also got some bold predictions from our Locked On Tar Heels insiders to share with you as well. We'll give tonight exhibition against Winston-Salem State. We'll do the what to watch for that. And, for those of you watching, I'm wearing a Braves quarter zip. You know that I'm a big Braves fan. Baseball is what I love in addition to all the sports we cover here. But I'm wearing this in honor of my guy, Freddie Freeman, who the Braves should have never let walk and walked off for the Dodgers in the 18th. I stayed up till the very bitter end of that the other night. And so there we go. All right. You ready for it? We're going to do two bold predictions in each of the first two segments. Let's dive right in. Here's the first one. I need a drink to get ready. Here you go. Caleb Wilson, ACC Player of the Year in 2026. That's right. You know what? I'm going to first start by giving you an argument against this bold prediction. And it's not a lack of anything that Caleb Wilson's going to do. It's because think about last year and the year before where RJ Davis was the ACC Player of the Year 2 seasons ago. Carolina needed him to step up and ball out, and they didn't have a bunch of dudes to support him in that. The difference this year is I truly believe Carolina's offensive balance is going to be some of the best we've seen in a while, where you might have 2, 3, 4 different guys lead Carolina in scoring a pretty even number of times. That is a very real possibility. And when we get to the end of the season, I do think Caleb Wilson's the leading scorer, but I think that there are others that might be close to him. That would be an argument against this. He doesn't have to do enough where he has like ACC Player of the Year type numbers. My argument for it, though, is this. Hear me out. Caleb Wilson will do it all offensively. We saw that the other night where he led Carolina in scoring with 22. He had 10 rebounds, including 4 offensive rebounds. He's going to clean up in that regard this year because Henri Veesaar will occupy a lot of the other team's bigs. That's going to let Caleb run wild and go get boards all the time. You saw like that play where he was just pogo sticking, getting offensive rebounds and eventually putting it back in. That's what he's going to be capable of. But no assists, if I remember correctly from Friday night, but he is an able and willing passer. There will be better days there. But keep in mind, and here's the other thing for me with Caleb. His defensive capability is what really sets him apart from so many other people. This is a true two-way player. Again, all the rebounding. He had 3 blocks the other night. Even when he gets beat, Tyler Zeller talked about this on yesterday's show. He can recover so quickly with his length and athleticism and recover for his own defensive positioning mistakes with blocks when need be. He can get steals. He will rebound. He'll rip and run and go. There is enough that Caleb Wilson can do for a North Carolina team that I truly legitimately think could contend to win the ACC, that I am going with this as ACC Player of the Year. I like it. Now, here, by the way, Look, I know preseason lists are to get people like me riled up so that I will do what I'm about to do. But Field of 68 coming out with an ACC freshman list, and he is fifth? Are you kidding me with that? What are we doing here? I understand Cam Boozer ahead of him. I understand Mikael Brown Jr. ahead of him, but it should be the three of them in conversation together. The fact that they then proceeded to put Nicholas Avdalas from Virginia Tech and Tyster Ritter from Virginia ahead of Caleb, what are we doing here? That's insanity. CBS Sports just came out with their top 101 players. I think yesterday, maybe it was on Tuesday. Carolina doesn't have a player in the top 50, and Caleb is 61st. 61st. Okay. We'll look at that again when this season's over, but y'all, that's crazy. Interestingly, so I had polled our Locked on Tar Heels insiders. I said, I'd love to get your bold predictions as well. And a couple of them also gave me bold predictions for Caleb Wilson from our guy, Michael Shadron. Thank you, Shadron. He said, my bold prediction, Caleb Wilson, first team all ACC, man. I am here for that. And again, I think that is a very realistic thing. Obviously, mine's a little more out in outer space, but man, I love it, Shadron. The other came from Taft Flowers, who said, my bold prediction is that Caleb Wilson wins Freshman of the Year. Seth Trimble wins the Jerry West Award, and that UNC makes it to the Final Four. Woo-hoo-hoo. I love it. Taft giving us three things that all have to come true. When you go parlay on that thing, that really makes it a bold prediction, Taft. I like that. So there you go. My first bold prediction, Caleb Wilson, ACC Player of the Year. Here's my second bold prediction for you. Carolina has a top 10 defense in the nation this year. And we're going to go with that based on KenPom metrics. So 2 seasons ago, when Carolina was a 1 seed, they finished 8th in the nation in KenPom adjusted defensive efficiency. That's hilarious. I might have to start calling it that, like a combination of defensive deficiency. But Carolina was 8th 2 seasons ago. So we've seen them do it in the Hubert Davis era. However, that is the abnormality, not the norm. Last year, Carolina 47th at KenPom. 2 years ago, when Carolina missed the NCAA tournament, they were 46th. In Coach Davis's first year, they were 35th. So really, they're hovering around mid-30s to mid-40s in the Hubert Davis era in defensive efficiency. That finishing 8th 2 seasons ago, that was the anomaly. Preseason this year, Carolina is 45th at KenPom. So in that same range, there is obviously previous results based into KenPom's preseason's algorithms. I get that. Torvik, Carolina is 16th preseason at KenPom. So in that regard, at Torvik in defensive efficiency. So in that regard, this might not be that bold of a prediction from a Torvik standpoint. From a KenPom standpoint, it really is. Here's why I believe, when I say I'm going to give these bold predictions, but I'm going to back it up with logic and reason. Here is what it is for me. Carolina, multiple reasons. Number one, Carolina has individual defenders that are great point of attack defenders themselves. And they had that both in the front and backcourt. In the backcourt, obviously that's Seth Trimble. He's going to be able to guard whomever it is, right? Like everybody made such a big deal the other day about BYU's big time shooter kind of having a rough night. Sure, some of that is maybe he's missing, but guess what? Seth Trimble had the primary defensive assignment on him. That's not nothing. And then in the front court, Jarin Stevenson started this game and had the defensive assignment on AJ DeBanza. I know AJ got 18 in this game, but that's going to be under his season scoring average. I'm just telling you that right now. They trusted Jarin Stevenson to do that. Caleb Wilson, we just talked about how good he is on the defensive side of the ball. Carolina has individual point of attack defenders. And then there's the rim protection that Carolina didn't have last year. Henri Veesaar, Caleb Wilson, Jarin Stevenson, etc. Each of those guys can do it and defend it. I feel like with Caleb, it's more often going to be the ability to block shots. With Jarin, a lot of that is going to be his length and presence around the rim. With Henri, it's just like, good luck. Everyone taking that in because you're going to think twice about it just because of his size and length. Speaking of which, that's the third thing for me in Carolina's defensive thing is the length, the capability that they have, just not because of how tall they are, but also because of how long they are. Getting out and defending in space, that's a thing. And then the athleticism. You saw some of that superior athleticism that Carolina has on full display on Friday night. All of that is a reality. The key to making this happen, the key to this bold prediction coming true is Carolina not just being a group of individually sound defenders. It's going to mean that they have to buy into team principles, that they have to help each other, that they have to, here's the key thing they didn't do last year, talk like crazy, help each other out, let each other know what's going on. That's going to be going back again to Seth Trimble's leadership and captaincy, those kind of things. They got to talk. If and when that happens, they're going to be able to do it. And it's not just the first unit. There are guys coming off the bench that will offer capability. Think about how big Derek Dixon is as a guard. Think about Jonathan Powell, like the edge that he plays with, right? Like feels like he's going to have some of that Harrison Ingram, Cormac Ryan, like, don't mess with my dudes, I will get on you about him. Carolina, truly, there you go. Number 2 bold prediction, top 10 defensive team at KenPom this season. A couple more Locked on Tar Heels insiders bold predictions that were in line with this as well. One comes from Austin Hunt. Austin said, my bold prediction is that we will be the best defense in the ACC and have 2 first-team all-defensive players. I followed up with Austin in terms of best defense. I said, do you mean like by KenPom metrics or by fewest points per game? He said, honestly, because of the pace that Carolina plays at, the number of possessions. He said it's not going to be points per game. It's going to be by KenPom defensive efficiency. So there you go from Austin. I love that one. And 2 first-team all-defensive players in the ACC. Curious to see who that will be. And then Will Self, love this one from Will. He says, for his bold prediction here, a Tar Heel wins ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Wilson or Trimble would be most likely, but I could see Veesaar or even Stevenson, if he carves out a large enough role, Will said, making a case for ACC All-Defensive Team. So again, you see all these individual. Thank you, Will, by the way, for that bold prediction. Man, that's great. I love that we were all in alignment on some of these. That's really neat, and I think it might be telling us something, right? So, you see all these individual capable defenders that Carolina has. Let's lean into it. Let's make it happen. Be that defensive team that travels, because the offense can go on and off any night. But you know what doesn't? Defense and effort and hustle. Let's make that a priority. Now, 2 seasons ago, Carolina spent the vast majority of the year in the top 10, and they're about to do so again. That's my 3rd bold prediction coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Mazda, who crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details, and Mazda brings that same level of intentionality to how they craft every model. You can feel that incredible Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the available Nappa leather upholstery. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season, because with Mazda, everyday drives feel like, frankly, anything but, from the smooth handling all the way to the intuitive controls and everything in between. And like all our Tar Heel athletes, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Here we go. 2 more bold predictions for you coming up. Here's number 3. The Tar Heels spend the majority of the season top 10 in the AP poll. Now, the Tar Heels did this 2 seasons ago when they were a 1 seed. The same year that we just talked about a minute ago when they were top 10 in KenPom defensive efficiency. That season, they jumped into the top 10, the 4th poll. That was the first poll of December, and they were there every poll but 1 the rest of the way. In that 1 poll, they weren't top 10, they were 11th. So Carolina was top 11 from December on that season. That's what I'm saying Carolina is going to do. They will be top 10 in more than half of this season's AP polls. Here's my rationale for it. Number 1, Carolina's non-con schedule this year is insanely more manageable than it was last year. This year, in 13 non-conference games, they have 3 games against teams that are preseason outside the top 300 at KenPom. That's Central Arkansas, who Carolina tips off the season against, NC Central, and USC Upstate. They have another game against a team that's in the 200s. That's Navy. And then they have 4 more that are in the 100s. That's Radford, St. Bonaventure, who they'll play in the first game of the Fort Myers tip-off, ETSU, and ECU. All told, 8 of Carolina's 13 non-con games are against teams that preseason are outside the top 100 at KenPom. What a difference. The other 5 games, the ones against teams inside the top 100, are against number 21 Kansas, that's at home, 25 Michigan State on a neutral, number 4 UK, Kentucky on the road. That is clearly the toughest game in the non-con schedule, hands down, no question about it. And then number 82 Georgetown at home, and number 27 Ohio State in the CBS Sports Classic down in Atlanta on a neutral site. And you compare that to last year. So Carolina, best ranked team at KenPom preseason is Kentucky. Outside of that, 21, 25, 27, and 82 are the other top 5. Last season, Carolina played 4 games against KenPom top 10 teams in non-con. I mean, wild how much more doable this non-con schedule it is. Also, number 2, so much of that schedule is at home inside the Dean E. Smith Center with just that one true road game at Kentucky. Everything else is either home or neutral. All sorts of time to figure out who you are, what your rotations are, get things set, build up a nice record while you're doing so, and that's going to move you up in the polls. And so, when you look at this non-con in totality, there is a real world in which Carolina is 11-2, 12-1 if things go the right way. And that definitely means your top 10 heading into ACC play. For example, let's say the Kentucky game, let's call that a loss at Rupp. Carolina could win that, but let's call it a loss for now. The other 4 most likely games to lose would be 82 Georgetown at home, 21 Kansas at home, 25 Michigan State on a neutral, 27 Ohio State on a neutral. Sure, Carolina might drop another 1, maybe 2 of those games, but there is a real world where the only game the Tar Heels lose in non-con is Kentucky. If you're 12-1 and your lone loss is a game at Rupp to a top 5 team, you're a top 10 team heading into ACC play. No bones about it. And then by that point, where with Carolina heading into what projects to me to be a stronger ACC this year, they're getting to the point, though, where by that time they've had all this time to work out the kinks. They're a much better, well-oiled machine. LUKA is hopefully worked into the mix. They know who they are, what they're doing, roles are defined, and all of that, and you're cooking. And then who knows what can happen. So there you go. That's my rationale for Carolina, top 10 team most of this season. 4th and final bold prediction for this show. And by the way, I know I for the show, I wanted to shout out the insiders, give them an opportunity to be on the show. But if you want to share your bold predictions, man, hop into the YouTube comments and do it. Let me know in the Discord. Again, that link's in the show notes. If you're an insider and you didn't share it, share them now. I'll let everybody know on a different show. But I'd love to hear your bold predictions. All right, here's the 4th and final one. LUKA BOGAVAC is the ACC's leading 3-point shooter by percentage. This dude comes over from having played multiple years in a professional league, a league where he's playing against older guys, more veteran guys, very savvy guys. Yes, it's a different game a little bit, but there's so much that translates. You have seen how quick he gets his shot off. I mean, he is shot ready, shot pocket ready, feet ready, boom, it's up the second he gets it. He doesn't have to reset. No. It's like, for me, I so often compare things to baseball since that's the thing that I played for so long and the thing I know the best. When I was playing out, when I wasn't pitching, I was playing outfield. One of the single most critical things as an outfielder is when you have a pop fly and a runner's going to tag up and run, you don't just stand there flat-footed, wait for it, and then throw unless your name is Ronald Acuna Jr. You have to get behind the ball, get set, get a running jump into it, crow hop, and deliver a strike. It's that same kind of thing, man. LUKA is doing everything he possibly can to be shot ready. Boom, it's up. And he was already in that league operating at essentially 40% from beyond the arc. Last year, Isaac McNeely, who is still in the league, transferred from Virginia to Louisville, led the ACC in 3-point shooting, just over 40% a game. He's probably going to do a lot of that again this year because he's got a bunch of shooters around him at Louisville. But there's no reason LUKA cannot come into the ACC, come to the country of America, come to North Carolina, and lead not only the Tar Heels in scoring, but the entire in 3-point percentage, but the entire conference. You've seen it. It's beautiful. It's repeatable. It's capable. And he's got a bunch of other good shooters around him. He's got athletes around him where he's going to be able to draw, other guys will draw gravity away from him where he's going to be able to get his shots off. He's got size. It all makes sense. So there you go. LUKA BOGAVAC leads the ACC in three-point percentage. So that's my 4 bold predictions for you. Guaranteed to go wrong. But here today on the show, they're as right as anything else I've ever said in my entire life. 2 + 2 = 4, and all of this is true as well. Caleb Wilson, ACC Player of the Year. Carolina, top 10 defense at KenPom. Carolina, top 10 AP poll most of the season. And LUKA BOGAVAC leads the ACC in three-point percentage. There you go. Now, we're going to get to see more of that happen on the floor in real time tonight. I cannot wait for it. It's the last preseason exhibition game. What am I watching for? Oh, I'm going to give you my what to watch for coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Peloton. I should be walking on a Peloton while I do this read. So I'm just going to pump my arms like this, like I'm on a Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. So whether you're running, you're lifting, or you're cross-training, you can do it with your favorite instructors. This is Training Reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps. It suggests the right weights. Goodness knows I need that help. And it corrects your form, making every rep you do safer and smarter. And the personalized class recommendations, man, they keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and your energy level every week. So go ahead, let yourself run and lift and flex and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Hey, that was fun. I got to get a little workout in during the Peloton read. You should have done it with me. I hope you did. Carolina tonight, last of 4 preseason opportunities to see the Tar Heels in action. 7:30 Eastern in the Smith Center. It's on ACC Network Extra, not ACC Network. You won't find it on your TV guide. You got to go to watch ESPN or whatever you find it on your phone or smart TV and access it there. If you can't find the link, good news. I have pinned it to the top of my Twitter profile at Isaac Schade. Go find it there. Tickets are available, by the way. If you want to go to this thing, I was helping somebody find some earlier on Tuesday. So go find them for yourself. By the way, I also forgot to say, I should have said it earlier in the show. We will be live tonight after the game. It's going to be great. For the postcast, man, that's some of my favorite stuff we ever do. The live energy is unlike anything else. After that, Coach Rob and I are going to record Thursday's show with his takeaways from the game. So be ready for that. I want to give you, as always, as a preview, the what to watch. I did 4. What to watch for, where I give you 4 things we're watching for in this game. Number 1, Carolina has to cut down on their turnovers. They had a lot in both of their intra-squad scrimmages. Understandable. Blue-white and the Cherokee scrimmage. Yeah, you're playing each other. You're tired of seeing each other. I get it. But it translated into the BYU scrimmage. Some of them are just turnovers of playing fast. I get that. But some of them were a team that hasn't played together a bunch yet, learning each other. You zigged and I zagged, and I threw the ball where you zigged, or the opposite of where you're going. All that kind of stuff. I want to see it tonight against Winston-Salem State, a team that, Coach Williams would have said, we are more gifted than. We should beat them, right? This is a game that Carolina should dominate from tip to final horn. No questions about that. One of the ways they can do that is by being intentional with the ball, making the right pass, the smart pass. I get it. There's going to be times when they probably try to go a little showtime with it. Sure, fine, whatever. But 19 turnovers like the other night, let's cut down on that, please, can we? In the 10 to 15 range. And then against Central Arkansas, let's get it down to 10 or less. Kansas, in that same range, right? You want to see that progress lower and lower and lower down. The good news from the BYU game is that both Seth Trimble and Kyan Evans combined for 1 turnover in that game. If we can get that out of them, and Derek had 3, but if the guards can do it, and the bigs you get, they're going to have some turnovers here and there, but if they can all just do that, it'll be in a better place. What to watch for number 2? I want to see Carolina lock down defensively. If my bold prediction's going to, when my bold, I said I wasn't going to make any excuses. I wasn't going to give any qualifications. So, when my bold prediction comes true and Carolina is a top 10 defensive team, it's going to start in games like this, where you're playing an overmatched opponent and you don't let up. Carolina needs to lock down this team defensively. I was looking at their roster the other day. They have one player over 6'9". It's a 6'11" freshman. Carolina's going to have a size advantage. No bones about that. But they need to use their length and athleticism and just shut the water off for this Winston-Salem State team. That's what it's got to be. And actually, that then plays into my what to watch for point number 3. I want to know which Tar Heels are going to lock in. This team, I feel like every one of them individually this offseason have said, man, we're a bunch of competitors. We love to get out here and compete. Our practices are high energy. We're getting after each other, and it's awesome. Good. I love that. Now I need you to prove it against a team that doesn't matter, in a game that doesn't matter. Can you be so competitive? Can you be so locked into dismantling the team on the other side of the court that in an exhibition game against an overmatched school that's coming in to play an exhibition against you, you dominate them and you do not let up? I know that's psychologically difficult. I know that's athletically difficult to give that much effort and energy across 40 minutes of a game. But good teams defend against the best in the best games they play. Elite teams will go lock you down whether you're playing Duke or my son Paxton's 10-year-old team or my daughter Poppy's 6-year-old team, right? I want to see the dude that would, the Tar Heels that would play my daughter Poppy's team and swat her shot every time she tried to take one. Like, that's what I want to see. What to watch for point number 4. I've said this a couple times since the BYU game, but I want to see the Zayden High that we saw in the Cherokee scrimmage. A Zayden that is still high energy, that is quick twitch, that is using his athleticism to move all around the court, but I want to see it more under control. And that's what the best athletes often do, is how do I utilize all the greatness that I have, but how do I harness it in a healthy way? I just thought, Friday was a moment of him being like, I haven't played against another team in forever. I'm going crazy. Got that out of your system. You're back home, settle in, and just, again, even if he does that tonight, everyone's going to say, yeah, but it was Winston-Salem State. I don't care, man. I just want to see him do it against another team. I want to see some of that from JB too. I need to see these guys step up and deliver a way that's not going to have to force Hubert Davis, that when Henri Veesaar is on the bench, that it's either Caleb Wilson or Jarin Stevenson at the 5. Sometimes it should be, and it needs to be. But Hubert Davis needs to have peace of mind that if I take Henri out and I put Zayden High in, we're going to be okay. So I need to see some proof of that tonight. That's what we're looking for. All right, guys. Again, 7:30 tonight, Smith Center, ACC Network Extra. Tickets are still available. Winston-Salem State. And then just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days later, Carolina opens the season against Central Arkansas back at home. It's going to be crazy. Make sure you're ready for it. A brand new season of Tar Heels basketball. Want to thank you so much for being here with us today. As a reminder, if you got some bold predictions to share, do it. Hop into the YouTube comments and share them. Holler at me on Twitter. Find us in the Locked On Tar Heels Discord. If you're not an insider, come join that and let me know. Reach out, send me a message, man. Would love to chat with you there. It brings me great joy to do so. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. Reminder, we'll talk tonight after the game live on YouTube. Be there. But until then, peace.